What would have happened if Abraham Lincoln had not been assassinated? And how would the United States be different today? Those are the questions that we're posing today to historian Allida Black. She is the research professor of history and international affairs at the George Washington University. She's also the founding editor of the Eleanor Roosevelt Papers, a project designed to preserve, teach, and apply Eleanor Roosevelt's writings and discussions of human rights and democratic politics. Allida is joined today by David Bruce Smith, the founder of the Grateful American Foundation. Welcome to both of you, and welcome back, David. I love talking about history, and I'm so excited to be talking to you today, Allida, especially when we're talking about these anniversaries that we're having, SELMA, the Civil Rights Movement, and Lincoln's assassination. So let's start at that assassination. What do you think was the linchpin for the hatred that John Wilkes Booth brought into that assassination of Abraham Lincoln?
Voting rights, to be succinct. I mean, the last speech that Lincoln gave right before he was assassinated called to extend voting rights to African-American soldiers who had fought for the Union. And it just enraged Booth.
Booth and so many others as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. So, David, what do you think Lincoln would say of emancipation today when he talked so much about it during his presidency? What would he think of emancipation today?
Well, I don't think he would be particularly happy, because emancipation means, one, being free from slavery.
Right.
And much of that exists still in the world, probably more now than 150 years ago. And although the Constitution guarantees equal protection of all laws, that's not necessarily the case.
So you think he'd be generally disappointed?
I think he would be disappointed, maybe disillusioned.
Well, you have this wonderful trove of history with Eleanor Roosevelt's papers, and you've been able to read all of them and work with all of them. What's the connection between Eleanor Roosevelt and Abraham Lincoln?
Well, I think they understood that freedom and emancipation are very complex. That it's not just freedom from slavery, but as David was pointing out, the freedom to become a full citizen and the struggle that that takes. And they both fully understood the dangers that they confronted as they made that argument.
What do you think Eleanor Roosevelt would say to Abraham Lincoln if she had a chance to sit down with him? What do you think she would say?
Boy, that's the $64,000 question. I would say, you know, we can't rest on our laurels. We have a lot of work to do. Go full steam ahead, and I've got your back.
Wow. And so what do you think, if we could then talk to Eleanor Roosevelt today, let's turn it all around, what do you think she would say to us to move us forward?
Oh, I can quote her.
Oh, great.
Okay, we are all on trial to show what democracy means.
Wow.
Period. End of story.
Wow. What kind of things do you see in these papers? I think we all would imagine that the First Lady, Eleanor Roosevelt, would really be, you know, understand her own voice, want to bring so much power to the disenfranchised. But what kind of hidden gems did you find that you were surprised by?
Well, Eleanor's fierce courage. I mean, the assassination attempts that she survived. She still refused Secret Service protection.
Really?
You know, the attacks, the vicious attacks she got at home once she tried to promote the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And the huge respect that she was held in around the world, not just because she was a good woman, because she was a fierce negotiator with a really crisp political vision.
That's wonderful. With David's project, the Grateful American Foundation, what does his organization bring to your cause and to what you're trying to bring?
Well, I love what David does, because what David says is that America is not perfect, but we always have to move forward, and we have a lot to be grateful for. And in my opinion, the people that we have to be the most grateful for are the people who risk themselves every day to make our country live up to its potential. Witness Lincoln and Eleanor Roosevelt.
That's so wonderful. Thank you for making this really come alive for us this afternoon. This is really wonderful. I wish we had more time to talk about Eleanor Roosevelt. David, in our last couple of minutes, you always give us great fun facts. What have you brought to me today?
I have two.
You have two, okay.
Okay, Lincoln was inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Out of 300 matches that he was a part of, he only lost once.
Wow.
The second fact is, just a few hours before his assassination, he created the Secret Service. Imagine
what the difference may have been if they had been around for maybe even a couple of more days. That's amazing. I'm still stuck at Lincoln as a wrestler. Was there a weight class or a height class with that wrestling that you know of?
I don't know.
You know, okay, come back to me next month and we'll find out more. Thank you so much, David Bruce Smith and Allida Black. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
More Let's Talk Lives coming up. Stick with us right here.